Great. All right. Interior CS Kipchumba Murkomen has dismissed a recent BBC documentary exposing sexual exploitation of underage girls in Kenya. Speaking before the National Assembly, the CS called the documentary a planned hoax aimed at misleading the public. Further, Murkomen claimed that he had personally reviewed the names, the pseudonyms and backgrounds of the individuals featured in the expose and found that none were minors. The BBC production, aired as part of an investigative journalism series, painted a disturbing picture of girls allegedly below the age of 18 being sexually exploited. Consequently, the claims triggered public outrage and calls for government action. However, Murkomen has insisted that the individuals featured in the program were adults who knowingly posed as minors.
Mr. Speaker, following the allegations of trafficking in persons involving children for purpose of sexual exploitation in Liveii town, Nakuru County, through a viral BBC documentary, officers from anti-human trafficking and child protection units were deployed. On 6 August 2025, 4 witnesses were interviewed and their statements recorded. Neema, Selina, and Mary Nyambura Njeri, who had both been interviewed in the BBC documentary, posing as victims of child sexual exploitation, as well as Millicent Muturi Wairimu, the chairlady of commercial sex workers in Liveii Township, and Jane Wamuyu Kungu, caretaker of Tamasha Lodgings. According to the witnesses, BBC representative promised substantial payments and lifestyle benefits to those who were involved. Investigations have further revealed that the documentary footage was recorded in Liveii and Karagita. Witnesses were linked to one another in various capacities within the sex work community. Millicent Wairimu, the chairlady of commercial sex workers, confirmed that she had been approached by the individual known as Snorina, with whom she had previously worked at North Star, and thereafter introduced her fellow sex workers, Judith Wanjiru Njoroke, alias Chepto, and Caroline Kinyanjui, alias Nyambura, and Jane Wamuyu Kungu to the BBC team.
You know, what Murkomen needs to do is to expose the people. If he claims he's done his research and he discovered that the guys were, the girls rather, were not underage, they were not minors, meaning he knows who they are. They are over 18 and they've deceived the country that this was happening to them and they're over 18 and they claim they were under, then prove to the nation by, exposing them. Show us this is so-and-so. She lives in this place. She's this age, not as claimed in the documentary, because now it's he says, she said. And the advantage that BBC has is that they showed the pictures of the girls, all right? Now, the government has increased the equitable share of revenue to counties with nearly 30 billion compared to the last financial year, with President William Ruto saying the unprecedented increase from last year's 387.4 billion to 415 billion will go a long way in strengthening devolution. Speaking during the 9th Devolution Conference in Homa Bay County, President Ruto reaffirmed his administration's commitment to supporting the devolved units. He said despite operating within a tight fiscal space, the government has honored its commitment to timely disbursement, clearing all balances owed to counties for the just ended financial year. The president pointed out that in the just 12 years since the inception of devolution, the government has transferred a total of 4 trillion to the counties. Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga, Speaker of the Senate Amason Kingi were among those present.
Of devolution was creating units that would secure equitable distribution of development in the country, that every Kenyan is then guaranteed a dignified and a quality life with access to public goods such as healthcare, water, housing, food, education, and transport at the local level. Creation of administrative units beyond the county governments, in wards, villages, and planning committees is further meant to ensure that the communities are heard and that the citizens' needs are met no matter where they are in Kenya.
Under the Division of Revenue Act 2025, we have allocated an unprecedented Kenya shillings 415 billion to counties, nearly 30 billion more than last year's allocation. The County Allocation of Revenue Act 2025 distributes this equitable share among the 47 counties in strict adherence to the revenue sharing formula set out in Article 217 of our Constitution. And again, today marks a turning point. We are using a new revenue sharing formula, again marking another historic step. This is the first allocation, as I have said, to apply the fourth determination of the basis for division of revenue approved by Parliament this year. This is not just more money. It is a stronger foundation for counties to deliver, develop, and transform people's lives.
All right, that's pretty interesting. One of the things that I truly hope in this world is that devolution can work. I've seen what it has done to our county. I come from Murang'a County. I've seen what it has done to Kakamega County. A lot of great stuff has happened there. I've seen what it's doing to Homa Bay County with Gladys Wanga. Quite a number of great stuff that is happening. I hope we can be able to replicate the same. I know what it did to Makueni when Kivutha Kibwana was the governor. I don't know about now, but I guess, you know, you'd have to be a genius to undo and mess up a county that was done as well as Makueni. Anyway, day after a shocking audit report from the Auditor General, Nancy Gathongo, revealed irregularities on the eCitizen platform, which may have led to the loss of at least 10 billion shillings. President William Ruto has defended the platform, saying it has reduced corruption and cartels. While speaking at the devolution conference in Homa Bay County, the president hailed the platform, saying more than 500,000 Kenyans access the platform on a daily basis, with more than 500 billion transacted annually. In a special report to the National Assembly, the Attorney General said that the vendor's control of the platform poses a single point of failure and a strategic risk in public service.
The platform has seen and has been an engine of economic opportunity, creating 600,000 jobs in ICT, support services, logistics, and other sectors, providing that digitization and proving that digitization is not just about convenience, but also about livelihoods. Most importantly, eCitizen has been a powerful weapon against corruption. By eliminating cash handling and embedding full digital audit trails, we have reduced opportunities for bribery and made transactions traceable, fair, and secure. Citizens can now follow the process and the progress of their applications and payments online, confident that the process is impartial and transparent. I therefore urge all counties to collaborate, share best practices, and celebrate while accelerating the adoption of technology to boost efficiency, cut waste, and enhance revenue performance. Beyond technology, we must promote inter-county collaboration, share resources and expertise, and ensure accountability through transparency and rigorous oversight. Kenya's real economic strength lies at the grassroots in our counties.
Well, the president was really busy yesterday, as he said also that the government is building more than 170,000 student accommodations in institutions of higher learning around the country through the affordable housing program. While speaking during the groundbreaking of the construction of Tomboya University's student village in Homa Bay County, he said that the accommodation in colleges and universities will foster and secure an accessible environment that will enhance the academic performance of the children. The Tomboya village is a 588-unit hostel that will host more than 2,000 students, and the hostels will be the first ever constructed under the Affordable Housing Program and will generate more than 1,500 jobs.
Ujenzi wa Student Village katika Tomboya University.
When we launch the first ever built student accommodation under our housing fund program. And this is one among facilities that we're going to build in our technical training colleges, in our Kenya medical training institutions, and in our universities. And the plan that is being executed at the moment is for 170,000 students to be accommodated in the facilities that are in this phase 1 in different parts of the Republic of Kenya. Many people have been asking me about the housing levy and the housing fund. That is the transformation the housing levy and the housing fund will do for us in the Republic of Kenya. Apart from building already 160,000 units of housing, 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom, 1-bedroom, studios, we are also building 400 new markets across Kenya. And now we are extending the housing infrastructure to students' accommodation. So to parents, to citizens, many of our young men and women in TVETs, in Kenya medical training centers, in universities, live in very dangerous places. Sometimes many of them live in slums. We want to bring back our students to campus. We want them to be here to learn in an environment where they are focused, where their attention is focused, and where they do not have any danger of being mugged, or being raped, or of any insecurity being visited upon them.
Well, his deputy was also busy. I'm talking about Kithure Kindiki, who asked the former Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua to keep off government matters as he was impeached from the office after losing his seat in 2024. While engaging with over 3,500 grassroots women opinion leaders from Tharaka Nithi County to update them on the progress the government is making to transform the county and to receive their input, Kindiki accused Gachagua of spreading falsehood, agents that the government meant to paint the government in bad light.
Mwenye alipatiwa kazi ya Deputy President akaharibu kazi. Akashindwa. Si alishindwa? Ya alishindwa. Kwa sababu alipewa kazi badala ya kusaidia mkubwa wake, anaenda kupigana na yeye. Yes. Ndio nawaambia kuna elimu ya shule na kuna elimu ya maisha. Hiyo elimu ya maisha ndio hata umuhimu zaidi kuliko elimu ya kitabu. Unaweza kuwa na elimu ya kitabu lakini hauna elimu ya maisha. So anaenda pale anasema hata mimi ni rais kiasi. Bana. There can only be one leader at a time. Yeah. There can be only one leader at a time. Siwezi kuwa na leaders wawili. Na hii kazi ni ya kusaidia rais. Sio ya kushindana naye. Ni ya kusaidia rais. Kunyeshe, kusinyeshe. Kulia, kushoto. Mbele, nyuma. Kazi yangu ni kusaidia rais na kutetea serikali. Ama namna gani? Mambo ya kupiga serikali ni mambo ya upinzani. Wale wako nje upinzani waendelee na hiyo kazi. Yangu ni ya kusaidia rais. Na kama niko na ushauri wowote wa kupatia rais, sio kwenda kumshauri mbele ya watu hadharani. Mimi namshauri vile na shauri yanga baba yangu. naenda jioni, namwambia mkubwa kuna hii kitu naona namna hii, tufanye hivi, alafu naondoka. Sio kwenda pale ati hadharani, ati kujionyesha hata wewe sasa umekuwa na kifua kama babako. So kazi yangu mkiona sina kazi ingine ni ya kusaidia rais.
Now, the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights now wants the government to ensure that justice is served for the families of victims of the protests and demonstrations. The Commission, while lauding the establishment of mechanism to compensate the victims as set up by the President, also wants the government to go beyond the envisioned monetary compensation to include accountability and justice. The Commission also wants the government to implement policies and laws that guarantee the enjoyment of human rights and the protection of defenders of rights.
I think the question we need to ask ourselves, and I think the approach the Commission is taking, is we need to look at compensation within the broader concept of reparations. So reparations comes with accountability for human rights violations. Reparations come with acknowledgement. Reparations come with compensation. Reparations come with memorialization. So it's a big concept. And I think what the President possibly and the team have done is to look at just one of the aspects of reparations. And it will be important that as the team goes around doing its work, would be possibly, number one, to broaden its area of work. I think number two would be to look at, I think the number at the Commission, we think that the period that has been given to the task force is, I think, very short.
Now, protest victims, do we get compensated also? Because mentally we suffered a lot. You know what I'm saying? So they have to be very specific about who is being compensated. Is it those who are directly affected, or some of the people, because of watching all those things and seeing people being shot and blown, having their brains blown out, you know, over the screens in YouTube, we got affected also. So what I'm trying to say is this. The entire country needs what you call a debriefing moment, where, you know, we just do something that deals with some of the trauma that people are going through. I mean, from 2007, after the post-election violence, nothing much in terms of debriefing has happened. And so people are walking around with wounds and that kind of stuff. Now, Busia Governor Paul Otuoma is under pressure to crack the whip after top officers were linked to 1.4 billion shilling fraud in misappropriation of county funds. The suspects, who include 3 county executive committee members, a chief officer and 2 directors, were apprehended by detectives from the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission during a coordinated operation. The officers also raided the suspects' home and offices as part of the ongoing investigations. Residents and leaders from the county are demanding immediate action from the governor to restore order within the devolved unit.
Viongozi wetu wa county, hasa governor wetu, Governor Paul Otuoma, tunataka kumwambia kwamba sisi wananchi wa Busia County tunasikitika sana kwa sababu tunaona tulimchagua tukampatia nafasi ya kufanyia sisi raia, lakini hawafanyi kazi kwa raia. Juzi tulipoona kwamba watu wa EACC wamekuja kufanya raid na kutafuta kwamba kuna ufisadi, tunauliza, je, governor mwenyewe naye anafanya nini kuhusu serikali yake? Kwa sababu yeye ndiye alichagua hawa ma ECCs ama ma CECs, yeye ndiye alichagua hata hawa ma directors ambao wanasemekana wanafanya ufisadi. Ingi samaki huoza kutokea wapi? Kichwani. So governor pia vile unanyamaza, inamaanisha sisi pia tunaanza kususpect hata wewe pia uko na hii cases ambayo iko ndani. Na usipoamuka na kuanza kusema state maneno, then we are suspecting you are also part of the problem.
Sisi tulimchagua na kura zetu. Na kama alijua ya kwamba atatuchagulia.
You know, questions, there are certain amounts that can disappear without, you know, the top guy knowing. 1.4 billion is a lot of money. I don't know how all that amount can disappear, be misappropriated without the governor knowing. I'm just asking questions, I'm just saying. It is impossible for something like 10 billion Kenya shillings to disappear in the country, to be misappropriated from the system without the president knowing. Same thing, the governors don't receive at 100 billion shillings, no. So when 1.4 or 1.6 disappears, you're supposed to know. You're supposed to know. Now, underfunding and teacher shortage have been cited as major challenges facing early childhood development facilities. Speaking on behalf of Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ogamba at the launch of a 3-day Foundation for Learning conference at the Aga Khan University Institute for Educational Development, the Director of Basic Education, Ann Waithera, said that the ministry is scaling up ECD teacher training and improving infrastructure to ensure equitable access to quality early education. She also thanked development partners for supporting reforms in the sector.
Don't hit, don't be violent.
A lot of us know that there's 250 million kids who are not in school. How do we reach them? 7 million of them are refugees. An extra complication. Almost 50% kids with disabilities who struggle, so 50% more to access the education that others don't. And of course, we know that girls do not access the same level and caliber of education as their brothers do.
As far as transition is concerned, there are transition points where we may risk some learners, hence the need to ensure smooth transitions between educational levels. The government of Kenya is implementing the 100% transition policy, which is a national priority. And this is aimed at ensuring that there is smooth transition across grades and also levels.
We're back, right? Yeah, we are. I've got newspapers for you. Yeah, I'd gone to get the newspapers and I'm back with them. I got the Star, the Daily Nation, and the Standard. Which one do you want us to start? Piki pongi, we do that. All right. Which one did you say? The Star? You sure about the Star? Okay, let's do then the Star. This is how it reads. My wife thought I was crazy, says SportPesa winner. The guy won 424 million shillings. 424. Okay, 20% of that will go to tax. I don't know what he's going to do with that. 20% goes to tax, and then the rest. If he has, in his mind, if he has never lived at a place where he handled 424 million, in his mind, if he has never lived there, then he's going to waste it. That's the unfortunate thing. If you do your research, most people who've won this kind of money, if their minds, if they were not already living where they could be able to handle that kind of amount, approximately, they're normally given approximately 4 to 5 years. They're back to where they were before. This is a research that has been done in the States with quite a number of people, lottery winners, close to 3 to 5 years going back to the level they are, because you don't pull to your life what you want, you pull to your life what you are. Very key. So in your mind, if you are poverty-stricken in your mind, you're living the life of scarcity, and you're living a poverty, you're living in a state of poverty in your mind. What will happen is that everything within you, if you win this or you got this kind of money, everything within you will work and orchestrate things to bring you back to what you have here. So you're not rich because of what you have in your pocket. You're rich because your mind is rich. You're not poor because of what you don't have in your pocket. You're poor because of what is up here. Man dies after stabbing by girlfriend in Embakasi. So you stab your boyfriend. Alafu? You know these things, I don't know. And it's a 23-year-old man has died after he was fatally stabbed in a domestic fight with his girlfriend at their rented house in Kware. Now, your girlfriend and boyfriend, and you've started fighting. Hey. Police say Raphael Mutusi succumbed to stomach stabs at the private hospital 2 days after the fight. He died on Monday as he was being attended to following the August 9 attacks. Nasemanga kikivana, you just walk out. Just go, enda uingie utafute mahali kuna swimming pool, uingie, you cool off. And then you have how unscrupulous officials defrauded AFC, audit reveals. MCA break free from governor's grip with new law. MP summon Gadongo over low quality audits. This is interesting. The MPs are questioning, they've summoned the Auditor General, claiming that her audits are low quality. The audits are low quality. Stars game changer. Harambee Stars captain Aboud says Coach McCarthy could be the missing piece in Kenya's football development. Yeah, but I agree. I mean, the guy has a good relationship with the players, and that is very key. And what has happened is that that good connectivity plus the 1 million shillings per winning match has brought a good chemical between the coach and the players. And so when there's that good vibe, things happen, right? And then there's a report that has come from the States, harsh verdict set to escalate tensions between Nairobi and Washington. U.S. damning report on Kenya's impunity. A report by the U.S. Department of State has condemned Kenya's worsening human rights record, citing attacks on Kenya Kwanza administration critics, particularly during last year's bloody anti-government protests. Now, U.S. has really put a spotlight on our country. Now, Pumwani Hospital told to pay woman 7.5 million for negligence during labor. 7.5 million? Let me see. Oh, man. Their negligence had led to the death of, her baby. And the unwarranted removal of her uterus. They removed her uterus. They first it led to the death of her baby, and then they removed the uterus, meaning they've condemned this lady. She will never have a child. Okay, I don't know whether this was the firstborn, but what that has done is just, doomed her. She'll never get a child again. Ay. Pumwani. Kwani they brought a boda guy to act as a doctor. Hey. Once upon a time, I watched a movie of what you can call clinical interns. And so a guy is brought into the ER, the emergency, is it called the emergency room? Or like if it's in Kenya, Apo Kenyatta National Hospital, it would be called the casualty, where you're brought in, that's where you're done the first aid and stuff. So I don't know whether the guy had come from an accident or something, but he's brought, and so these guys are shouting, they keep on giving orders. Oh, check his heartbeat, And then this guy checks the heartbeat and he says, this guy is not, there's no pulse. There's no pulse. And so the guys freeze. And then he's told, the guy who's been told he's dead, he says, what do you mean? And then that's the time they realized that this guy was checking for the heartbeat on the right side of the heart. You'll get that tomorrow. So, court quashes Duale's NHIF claims verification team. Health Cabinet Secretary Aden Duale's decision to establish a committee to verify pending bills owed to hospitals by the defunct National Health Insurance Fund has been quashed by the High Court. The back page of the Standard, Group A leaders, Kenya could secure quarterfinals spot today. This is the Nation, yes. Group A leaders, Kenya could secure quarterfinal spot today. Today is the day these guys are playing. I thought it was over the weekend. Huh? Oh, okay. It's based on the results of other teams. Morocco versus Zambia, Angola versus DR Congo. A draw will see Harambee Stars home and dry. You remember that time? Over the bar. Somebody needs to start saying that. All right, the Standard newspaper, that's where we are right now. No, thank you, Ruto. The Standard, basically this is a story of some of the officials who had been given some jobs by the president, but they declined. And what you have here, you have from Ghana to Kenya National Commission of Human Rights, President Ruto's dream jobs keep getting dumped. In just 2 years, 9 high-profile nominees have walked away from the plum positions offered by the president, from ambassadorial seats to commission chairmanships. The string of rejections have fueled claims of sloppy vetting, fear of association over dwindling fortunes, tone-deaf gender pigs, and advisors asleep at the wheel, leaving the head of state embarrassing and scrambling for replacement. And the pictures of the guys are there. You have some of them, Duncan Ojwang, who declined the Kenya National Commission of Human Rights job. Then you have Millicent Omanga. She had been given a job as the Nairobi River Commission post, and she rejected it. Then you have Margaret Nyabura Ndungu. She had been sent to, is it Ghana Embassy, and she refused. Then you have Timothy Bosire, NTSA appointment, and he said, aye, nena leo bosu. And then you have double speakers. President masks flaws, turns heat on MPs over graft. Then you got farms deny 468 billion expressway project has been abandoned. Okay. Magistrate writes to Chief Justice, police boss after scary incident. What happened to her? Was she watching a horror movie? Busia Chief Magistrate Edna Nyalet says border riders almost stormed into her home at night to demand that she withdraws from a defilement case. Now listen, why in the world would border guys go to the judge's magistrate's home trying to storm it, demanding that she removes herself from a defilement case? If you don't know what defilement means, it is somebody, slept with an underage girl. And this simply means it's a border guy who did that. And they have a habit of doing that. Some of them have raped kids. So they're trying to turn into a gang to go and scare the living daylights out of the magistrates. Are you kidding me? Ongesa police. Counties suffer as governors, deputies engage in endless, as governors and deputies engage in endless fights. Siaya Governor James Orengo and his deputy Oduol. Okay. Nairobi Hospital wants court to dismiss 32 million shilling debt case. Police Commission and National Police must not compete, says Chair nominee. As MP summon Auditor General over compromised reports. Now, if you took the Auditor General and you put her there and you put members of Parliament there, who will you believe? Whose report will you believe? We will believe the report of the Auditor General in this particular case. How FKF is now paying the price of hosting Chan because of the misbehavior of quite a number of Kenyans who are used to forcing their way into things and demanding for free stuff. Kenyans have been going in. When they're told, like right now, I remember, I think the number of Kenyan funds to go into Kasarani, I think it was reduced to 40-something. So now you can imagine, this is a 60,000 capacity stadium, but because of bad manners of people forcing themselves in, it has been reduced, and the FKF has been fined close to around 6-point-something million. So they're starting to feel the pain, and they're begging fans, usiende kama una ticket. Don't go. You're messing up, our chances of even hosting the quarterfinals and the finals. So please stay at home. You can watch the match from your screen. And I'm thinking probably what FKF should do, and they said they were going to do that, is organize for, part of the field. Kasarani Sports Complex is a humongous space. They can put huge screens where people can watch the matches kutoka huko nje, instead of going and trying to force themselves into the stadium and getting the whole country in trouble and risking. We might have the quarterfinals probably played in Uganda or Tanzania, and yet the Kenyan team is there. So please don't go. Please don't go. Please don't go. All right? Okay, with that, I got to bring the curtains down on the show. Remember yesterday we had a very interesting conversation on alcohol abuse. We had David Ogot, just in case, as I told you. David Ogot is the firstborn son of Mheshimiwa, the late Grace Ogot. Messed up his life, he was doing a lot of drugs, mostly alcohol, messed up his life, but he's clawed back. And as a result, he's taking control of his life, and he's helping people. He's helping quite a number of people overcome alcohol addiction. I like what he said yesterday. He said alcohol addiction is a disease. And so this frees so many people in terms of, in case you have a sibling or your parents, for that matter, or you have a son or daughter who are abusing alcohol, just know it's a sickness and it can be treated. It doesn't get away 100% because you always remain a recovering alcoholic, because the day you again sip it, your body responds in a particular way, right? So you can go that on our Facebook page, on our YouTube, and just check it out, David Ogot on Morning Live, and you will see and listen to the conversation. It was such an enlightening conversation. Do have yourself a lovely morning.